line and hope our special teams can pin the opposing team back. 2016 is underway with the Raiders and Saints, and this one goes through the end zone, and it will be a touchback. So there goes that theory. As Drew Brees takes the field, led the NFL in passing again last year, 6th time in his career, an NFL record.
Still amazing. 37 years old, signs this new contract, really a team-friendly contract to get another year or two out of this deal, but he's got some young targets on this offense. Get the chance to see the rookie Michael Thomas at wide receiver. It is a new addition. I mentioned in the open, Kobe Fleener at tight end. See how they affect the game for this dominant quarterback.
Fakes to Mark Ingram. Brees comes out firing and incomplete. Hit a Raider in the back. He was trying to get to his tight end, his new tight end, Kobe Fleener. Malcolm Smith in the coverage. And some of those players that he talked about, Michael Thomas, a guy that Sean Payton said, I'm not really into fantasy leagues, but I would draft that guy. Tells you something about the rookie from Ohio State. And Jari Evans back in the starting lineup after a decade here in Seattle, cut and brought back to New Orleans right before the start of the season. 2nd and 10 for Cooks, and he doesn't hold on. It'll be 3rd down. Sean Smith, one of the new additions to that Raider defense in the coverage as he came over from Kansas City. And Ronda, you touched about this defense, especially up front. Mack once had 5 sacks in a game in a beating of the Broncos. Malcolm Smith, the addition, Bruce Irvin to the linebacking core, and Reggie Nelson, one of the keys in the secondary, a favorite of Jack Del Rio, originally drafted by him in Jacksonville. On 3rd and 10, Brees has time. And the ball's out. A Raider got there first. Let's see if he recovered it. Brees had time, and Bruce Irvin forced the fumble. And coming away with the recovery, Ward, the rookie from Illinois.
Well, watch your left tackle here up against Khalil Mack. Completely dominates him. But this is what the Raiders defense adds on the other side. Bruce Irvin fighting off the tackle, gets a sack, and the Saints have a giveaway, and the Raiders come away with a big takeaway on the first series of the game.
Deciding to defer and kick off against the Saint offense at home. That tells you something about the confidence that Del Rio has in his defense.
This kid right here, he's not a kid. He looks like a grown man. We talked to him yesterday. Is going to be a factor on this Raiders defense.
21-yard line for Derek Carr. Latavius Murray with nowhere to go. Here comes a flag as he's knocked down right away. Our referee is John Perry, 10th season as a referee.
Holding, offense, number 15, 10-yard penalty, replay, 1st down.
That call on wide receiver Michael Crabtree, and that's a big call. It's going to push him back and may affect field goal range. So now it's 1st down and 20. Derek Carr, his first 2 years in the league, only Dan Marino had more touchdown passes in the history of the NFL, and said he likes the noise when asked about coming to the Dome. Tywan Jones is in at running back, splits out as a receiver. That's him in motion now. He's the speedster. Carr looks to Jones. Nobody in front of him. He puts a move on and gets inside the 30. Murray was a 1,000-yard rusher, 73% of the Raider ground game last year. And of course, Amari Cooper, the outstanding rookie who led all rookies in catches and yards. And on the offensive line, improvements.
Huge addition there, and Kelechi Osemele at left guard is going to make this team a much better unit. They have really good talent across the front. Adding a road grinder in this guy should see some improvement in the run game.
Murray in at running back. He gets the carry and maybe a yard where it'll be 3rd down. Tyler Davison making the tackle.
Tyler Davison playing that nose tackle in this 4-3 defense. Really had a great camp. Love the additions on this Saints defense. They need some pass rushers. but they were bad stopping the run last year. Nick Fairley in there for the rookie who was hurt early in the preseason rankings. But this is the addition that I like the most. James Laurinaitis, a guy in the middle who can control the defense, keep them calm, got the veteran presence that this defense really needed.
Carr, the quick pass. Amari Cooper has it, loses the football out of bounds. The Raiders will keep it. They give him the catch and a minimal gain, and the Saints defense having to take a stand in their own territory, and they did.
Well, that was really kind of sloppy by the Raiders offense there, and nothing you could do on a 3rd and 19. But you get the holding on 1st down, you get a negative run on 2nd down, and then nowhere to go. You just give yourself an opportunity for a field goal here. I was expecting more out of that Raiders offense to start this football game. Sebastian
Janikowski, 47-yard field goal try, and the kick is through. A turnover. The Raiders settle for 3, and Janikowski will be kicking off, but it was the Raider defense that set the tone early in this opener at the Dome. Rough start for Drew Brees and the Saint offense, but when you have Drew Brees, you always have a chance, and he'll get a second chance as Janikowski, who just made the field goal, ready to kick off for the 2nd time already. Marcus Murphy will have to come up on this one, and it bounces in front of him. He takes it from inside his own 1-yard line, and the Raiders special teams, that's what the Raiders wanted to do, is pin him inside the 10 as Tywan Jones made the tackle. And a moment ago we heard that Pete Carmichael, at least in the early portion of the game, was calling plays. Sean Payton, one of a dozen or so coaches in the NFL that has called his own plays. What's the purpose of this? That's a good report there by Jen Hale, because we were unaware of this going into this football game, that Pete Carmichael was going to be calling the plays, or at least the first 15 plays. But when you're Sean Payton and you have a really young football team, Chris, I think it's important to keep eyes on everything. So giving away the play calling for the first 15 at least, he can get a feel for how his team's starting this season. The quick pass, smothered. Brandon Cooks with Sean Smith all over him. Sean Smith now, this is a guy I really love for his size, strength, speed combination. I mean, you look at him covering Brandon Cooks there, Chris, and he looks, makes Cooks look like a midget. He's so big, and he brings such good experience to this Raiders secondary. Cooks is only 5'10", on 2nd and 10. You ready? Breeze completes to Ingram, and Ingram trying to get up to the 20. He'll be short of the 1st down, but that's the most positive play for the Saints so far. It'll be 3rd down and short. As this game goes on, keep an eye on these 2 tackles for this Saints offense. They got their hands full. Khalil Mack, Bruce Irvin, going up against Teron Armstead and Zach Strief is the battle of the day, the matchup of the day for me. Tim Hightower in at running back. Inside to John Kuhn, the fullback, the former Packer. And it looks like, let's see how they spot this, he did get the 1st down. That's a familiar play no matter who Kuhn is playing for. Well, he's as solid as any fullback in the NFL. And that we'll see that play a lot on 3rd and short. Drew Brees loves, or Sean Payton loves, to get the ball into his fullback and just power ahead. This guy can do it as good as anybody. Last year, the Saints led in the 1st quarter. They led the NFL in scoring. Trailing 3-0 here in a 2nd possession. Handoff Ingram. Big hole! Bullying his way to the 35 when he ran into the last Raider, and it had to be Nelson in the secondary, or Ingram still might be running. A lot of questions in the preseason about Andrus Peat right there. Your left guard moved around. This is exactly where this ball goes. Gets a nice block on Danico Autry and opens up a big gainer. 12-yard pickup, spotted just below the 34. Daniel Lasco, the rookie runner from Cal, is in. Low throw, but good enough for a 1st down catch. That's Willie Snead. What about the tempo of this Saint offense?
Willie Snead, really good receiver in this offense. Not the headliner, but the type of possession player that this offense thrives with. And he gets a lot of cushion there from the safety. It's really easy throw and catch.
12-yard pickup. Now Cadet is in. 5 running backs are active for Sean Payton in this game. Traveris Cadet runs into a crowd, goes nowhere. So what about the pace and the idea that Sean Payton has 5 running backs: Ingram, Hightower, Cadet, Daniel Lasco, and Marcus Murphy?
A little bit of imbalance. A couple of those guys are special teams players, but we know the variability of this offense, and the more your runners can do, the better. And Sean Payton will use every single one of them in the backfield today.
C.J. Spiller, inactive, who had a pretty good preseason. Some hesitation about who they wanted in on this play on 2nd down and 9. So Cadet is a receiver, top of your screen. Complete. It's Snead. Willie Snead slipping to the 37-yard line of the Raiders.
You know, if you're able to open up a defense, you get a preferable matchup. Look at this guy, this linebacker here, having to cover a wide receiver. It's just a choice route. Sticks him outside. Really good route by Snead. And, of course, his quarterback knows that's the matchup he wanted all along. Another big gainer.
Pickup of 16 yards. Mark Ingram inside the 34-yard line. Let's get a game break and head to Carissa Thompson. Carissa, how you doing?
I'm good, Chris. Thank you very much. First quarter, second overall pick. Carson Wentz with a 19-yard touchdown pass to Jordan Matthews, his first career touchdown pass. Eagles up 7-0. Chris, Rondé, and Jen.
All right, thank you very much. Rookie quarterback, Eagles having success early. A veteran quarterback trying to respond to an early sack and fumble. As Breeze flips for the screen to Ingram. A big running area. All the way down to the 13 of the Raiders.
I got to tell you what, this is a well-designed play. Watch these 3 guys right here get out in front of this play. Of course, the play action helps, gets the defense going the wrong way. But look at this line of white shirts right there for Mark Ingram to get behind. You know, Chris, you asked me about the tempo of this offense. They used to get this tempo all the time, go down and score quick, and we're seeing it today.
Breeze spins out of a rush and just gets rid of it in the area of John Kuhn. That was a gain of 20 previously, and now it's 2nd down and 10. And Danico Autry came in and put the pressure on.
Chris, I got to tell you, so many doubts in the preseason. I mentioned it on that running play about this offensive line. You know what Max Unger is. We know what Armstead is. But there are questions at guard with Pete and Zach and Jari Evans and Senio Calamente. So far, they've looked really good to me.
It's John Kuhn. So when you hear that sound in here, again, they're not booing. Fans are just saying Kuhn.
Isn't it interesting how that chant carried over with him when he left Green Bay? They just adopted it. They just adopted him and the chant.
So he trots out with Josh Hill, kind of a valuable backup tight end. And we'll see on 3rd down and 8, the 12th play of this drive, loaded with receivers. 2 at the top, 2 at the bottom. That's Cadet lining up as a receiver. Now he's in the backfield. Breeze gets rid of it. Wanted to make sure he was out of the pocket and somebody in the area, so that'll bring up 4th down. And it might be, did he reach the line of scrimmage? Did he need to?
Well, I think, Chris, he was looking for his back in the area. And
intentional grounding. Number 9, offense. The quarterback was out of the pocket, but the ball did not get back to the line of scrimmage. By rule, loss of down, 4th down.
He was out of the pocket, and it didn't get back to the line of scrimmage, so thus the flag.
Well, if he's out of the pocket, he's got to get it over the line of scrimmage, of course.
And you don't have to worry about a receiver in the area.
But I believe Drew thought that his running back was in the area, and I think he got caught up in the defense, either holding or caught up in that mesh that was at the line of scrimmage, and there was nobody there.
So the new kicker, he's never kicked before in an NFL game. They had a competition between Kai Forbath and Connor Barth. Breeze frustrated. He made it more difficult on his young kicker from undrafted, I should say, free agent from Georgia State, signed by the Saints off the Ravens practice squad. He was 10 of 13 in warm-ups. This will be a 42-yard field goal. His first kick in the NFL. Will Lutz, welcome. And we're tied at 3.
If you're wondering about that penalty, watch the running back. This is the guy that Drew Brees is trying to get this ball to. But as this snapped, and the Raiders defense do a really good job sniffing out screen. Look, he's tackled, so there's nobody in the area for Drew Brees to say that he was throwing that ball to, and that is why you got a penalty.
And Sean Payton was over there discussing it with the officiating crew, thinking maybe his player, cadet, was held or knocked out. Either way, Lutz, his first NFL field goal, and he's kicking off. Morstead, the punter, did that in the past for this Saints team. Tywan Jones coming up from the 5.5-yard line. Jones trying to get outside. Here comes a flag, and he goes nowhere. So special teams doing a good job of keeping teams from advancing beyond the 20. Nate Stupar making the play.
Well, you're seeing already, Chris, that these teams, these coaching staffs, the special teams coordinators are not going to give up these 5 yards and kick this ball through the end zone. We know the new rule. If it goes for a touchback, it comes out to the 25. So it really behooves these guys to try to pin them.
There's 2 fouls on the play, both on the return team. Both are holding. 27 declined. 57 accepted, half the distance to the goal. 1st and 10.
And then, of course, a holding penalty doesn't help the matters at all.
Raiders and Carr pinned deep in a tie game. Raiders with the football and plenty to throw to for Derek Carr. Second year, Amari Cooper and Michael Crabtree, Mr. Consistency. On first down from the Raider 9, Murray gets a few yards. And the Raiders, as good as they were throwing the football, they ranked last year 28th in the NFL in rushing.
Yeah, they really struggled across offensive line. Great pass protectors up front. Donald Penn is one of the best, has probably the best feet of a left tackle in football. Then you add Kelechi, and you got an underrated Rodney Hudson and Menelik Watson coming off an injury last year. I'm impressed with what they did in the preseason. I expect them to gel this entire season, 2016.
That's Crabtree in the slot. Here comes the flag.
Ball start. Offense number 86. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
That's on Lee Smith. And you wonder how much the noise, especially when you're backed up in the end zone, there's definitely a reverberation effect. Had to do with that penalty. So 2nd and 11. DeAndre Washington is in at running back. 3 defensive linemen here for the Saints defense. Carr's pass, it's quickly thrown and completed to Cooper. Gets up around the 15-yard line.
Yeah, interesting lineup for Dennis Allen, the defensive coordinator for the Saints. He's only got 3 defensive linemen in the game, 3 linebackers and 5 DBs. So seeing some different looks out of this unit that he even mentioned that he was trying to simplify and make these guys play fast. So far, they're playing very fast.
Former Raider head coach who drafted Derek Carr here in New Orleans last year, but his first year as Saints defensive coordinator. On 3rd and 7, what a throw to Jalen Richard. He was backpedaling, and Carr got rid of it to get the first down.
Well, this is an area where Derek Carr really needed to improve. Under pressure last year, he struggled. But you got an empty backfield. You know where you want to get this ball again. Just like Drew Brees on the other side. You got to be accurate in the face of pressure. And look at him dime this ball to Jalen Richard for the first down.
The rookie from Southern Mississippi had to go down and make that catch. Good fingertip grab there to keep the drive alive.
What's up?
Carr looks the other way. Open over the middle of the field is Cooper running. That Cooper brought down inside the Saints' 45-yard line.
You know, not a lot of young quarterbacks are good at doing what Derek Carr just did. This play was supposed to go to the right side. Watch his helmet. Reading over here, good defense by the Saints, and come all the way back to probably his 4th receiver, which is Amari Cooper on that dig, that in-breaking route, and a huge gain for the Oakland Raiders offense.
A pickup of 35 looked a little like Drew Brees, and Carr would be the first to tell you he's studied Brees in some of his approaches to throwing off a defense. DeAndre Washington, the rookie from Texas Tech, in at running back. He gets the football and hit hard, knocked back at the 41-yard line. Let's get another game break and head to Los Angeles at Carissa Thompson.
Whereas Green Bay at Jacksonville. Last year, Aaron Rodgers had 1 rushing touchdown. And guess what? He already has one in the 2016 season. Packers up 7-0. Chris, Rondé, and Jen.
Thanks, Carissa. Great expectations for that Packer team, just like there are for the Raiders.
You know, you mentioned the similarities between Drew Brees and Derek Carr. Talked to their ex-coordinator here at the Raiders, Greg Olson, who also worked with Drew Brees in college, and he said these two are the most accurate throwers that he's ever worked with. So you're seeing the similarities on display today.
Carr, deep drop. Wide open. Oh, and what a reaching grab by Cooper. Almost overthrown, but he hangs on and gets down to the 5 of New Orleans.
Well, we talked about how explosive this offense can be, and again, another good job by Derek Carr sorting out what's going on defense. But this is just an amazing catch by Amari Cooper. Look how far he runs on this route. It's an over route, throws his hands up, and he sees him, and just a great acrobatic catch. Good delivery. You got an athlete that can do this. You're going to pick up some big yardage as an offense. They're down in the red zone now.
6'1", Rondé, and needed all of that. 1st and goal for the Raiders after a gain of 34. Murray has it. Latavius Murray bouncing into the end zone. Touchdown, Raiders.
Watch your center right here. Just a draw. Rodney Hudson's one of the most underrated blockers in the NFL. Completely washes Nick Fairley out of that play, and then just leave it to your big back to run right over the linebacker in for the touchdown.
6-yard touchdown run after Amari Cooper. 2 big gainers of 35 and 34 yards, and then Murray takes it in. Sebastian Janikowski, his extra point is good. And the Raiders, with the running game after the passing game set it up, have a 10-3 lead in New Orleans. On the Raiders sideline, medical staff checking out guard Gabe Jackson and Joe Vitt talking to the coach on the field and James Laurinaitis, one of the new additions, about that last drive. The Raiders went 91 yards. And Carr was perfect in that drive, 4 out of 4 for 81 yards.
We were talking about how lackadaisical, even kind of methodical that first possession was. They corrected themselves on that 91-yard touchdown drive there. Well done by that Raiders offense.
This one goes into the end zone, down by Marcus Murphy. 25-yard line is where Drew Brees and the Saint offense will start from after Latavius Murray has given the Raiders the lead on the road. Rondé Barber, Chris Myers here in New Orleans. Nice to have you watching. And for Bruce Irvin, the new contract from Seattle to the Raiders. Already a big play, causing a fumble that set up an early field goal. Brees on 1st down. Mark Ingram touchdown.
You know, he played strong side linebacker when he was up in Seattle, really kind of the same position under Ken Norton's defense here, but I think the one difference that we'll see is him rushing the quarterback a lot more. They put him in space in Seattle, and while he can do that, I believe, man, he's a rusher. Let him rush the quarterback. We've already seen 1 sack on the day.
It's not quite a Seattle defense, but it seems like Ken Norton, the coordinator, going in that style. He worked there as an assistant. Obviously, Malcolm Smith and Irvin came from that system.
52, Mike 5-3, ready.
Second and 7 for Breeze. The quick pass. Snead has it. Works up near the first down near the 35. They may spot him a little short.
We haven't yet mentioned Michael Thomas, the rookie out of Ohio State, wide receiver, and we know how comfortable Drew Brees is with Snead. We saw it last year. We know how comfortable he is with Brandon Cooks. I want to see the rookie get involved. He have yet to catch a pass, have yet to have a target. We know he's available. He's got huge hands. He's an interesting story.
And it's odd not to have the Saints and no Marcus Colston, a long-time receiver of Drew Brees and a great connection. Kuhn comes in at fullback with Hightower. Hightower gets the first down. Tim Hightower, a guy who's been out of the game for 3 years with knee injuries, has worked his way back, and Sean Payton said, hey, I see him and Mark Ingram as equal runners and receivers in our backfield. So the Saints get the first down, and at the end of the opening quarter here in New Orleans, the kickoff to the 2016 season, the Raiders lead 10-3, but the Saints are on the move, and we're glad you're watching, wherever you're watching, the NFL on Fox. Kickoff weekend in the NFL after field goals, a Murray touchdown. We start the second quarter with Drew Brees and the Saints trailing by 7. Tim Hightower running tough and gets up across the 40-yard line.
Tim Hightower is still a great story, Chris. You mentioned he was out for those 3 years after some injuries and really just interest, lack of interest. And I'm always intrigued by players who sit out that long and then come back and have the type of year that he had last year, spelling Mark Ingram when he was hurt. He's big, he runs downhill, and the Saints absolutely love him.
So he steps out for a moment. Cadet steps in, and he's in the slot as a receiver for Brees. On 2nd and 5. Sideline throw, right on target to Willie Snead. And he's spinning his way down to the 10-yard line.
These are the type of plays you expect. Willie Snead just out here running a go route, in and out, gets Sean Smith to commit, and I have seen Drew Brees make that throw so many times, and this is just a great catch, good run after the reception. If you're asking who Willie Snead is, people pay attention because he is on fire today.
Signed as a free agent by the Browns, cut, went to Carolina's practice squad, cut, the Saints brought him back, and he is a fixture now for Drew Brees after a gain of 49.
Hey, let's go. Hey, Mike 54. It's all right, ready. You ready? What's that?
Mark Ingram at running back. Brees' throw is on target to Cooks. Trying to work his way, and he goes out of bounds around the 5.
We're seeing some tempo out of this Saints offense now, and this is what you expect from them. You know they like to throw the football probably about 60% of the time. You get Brandon Cooks in space on Irvin, and it's really not fair. I know how good Bruce Irvin is as an athlete, but Brandon Cooks is a special guy in space.
Second down goal just inside the 5.
Check, check. Check, check. Mike 50, Mike 50. Ready. Ready, what's that? Go, go, go.
Drew Brees floats one for the end zone. Cadet, hands, no. Feet out.
Well, I got to tell you, this is close. Just a little, really nothing to this. Now he's out.
Great second foot, that right foot.
Great placement on the play, but Cadet is not a receiver. And you would see some of the veteran guys in this league get that foot down, drag it, and make the completion.
Yellow 80, yellow 80.
3rd and goal. Breeze hesitates, completes. He can't get in. Cooks tried to worm his way underneath, but Malcolm Smith kept him out of the end zone.
Good red zone defense by the Raiders.
Now,
and it looks like
fourth and
Drew
goal.
Brees is looking at the sideline telling Sean Payton, we are going for this.
And what did
they
Sean
are.
Payton tell us after Friday's practice? We're going to be aggressive on fourth down.
And they have to be, Chris. There's no question that this team has underachieved in the eyes of their head coach. We're going to see what they got here on fourth down.
From the 3-yard line, Mark Ingram, the running back. They'll get a little closer.
Approachment defense number 91. After distance to the goal.
Now, Drew Brees is, what did they tell us yesterday, Bruce Irvin, that he is a master manipulator, Drew Brees. The hard counts, the shifts, you know, some of the antics at the line of scrimmage, and he got him right there to jump. Get about 1.5 yards though, Chris. And the Raiders are going to call timeout here and get themselves organized for this
Jack Del Rio, who was drafted by the Saints, 11-year NFL playing career in the 3rd round. He has family still in the area, a couple of daughters. His wife is from the area, and they're here in attendance as well. And he said about managing expectations with this Raider team, he said, yeah, we have talent, but we have to produce the wins on the field, the results. That's what this is all about.
Well, it's easy to be excited about them, the additions that they made in the offseason on defense. You know, your third-year quarterback working in his 2nd year under the same offense with 2nd year with 2 receivers. So you got to be excited about their potential. But that's all it is at this point. Jack Del Rio understands that.
And Sean Payton, the play calling, whether it's Pete Carmichael or Sean Payton.
We know they were an explosive offense last year, #1 in the league in passing, but they struggled to score. And you get in the red zone, you get a lot of opportunities down here, but if you're kicking field goals, you're a step behind. And that's what Sean Payton and Drew Brees are telling themselves right now. We need to set the tempo, let everybody in the stadium and on that Raiders defense know that we're going to go for it when we need to.
They brought in an extra lineman. Mark Ingram the back with John Kuhn on 4th and goal from the 1. Breeze to throw. Touchdown Saints! It's Willie Snead, of course it is.
The aggressive play calling continues here, and if you'll see the Raiders defense really fast flow on this play. And Drew Brees looks to the flat, but he knows where Willie Snead is going to be all the way. Watch Willie Snead right here, and then you're going to see some linebackers flow through the screen. Look how wide open Willie Snead is in the middle of the field. 53 on the Raiders defense there. Malcolm Smith is late to recover, and it's an easy throw for this excellent quarterback and emerging wide receiver.
Snead 5 catches already, and Will Lutz his first extra point. He made his first NFL field goal in the opening quarter. Who's ever calling the plays, Drew Brees knows how to execute them. His career high, 10 catches. He's already halfway there. Here in the 2nd quarter, Willie Snead, one of those cast-off players that Sean Payton and the Saints have brought in, and Drew Brees and him have found a connection. 5 grabs, 84 yards, and the touchdown that came on 4th down. Of course, Tim Hightower helped march him down the field, another guy who was rejected by some teams after injury.
Well, Willie Snead is a good football player, and when you need the tough or important catches, and they only had 1 touchdown this first-string offense in the preseason, and it was a spectacular catch in the back of the end zone by Willie Snead.
Will Lutz, high kick, short from the 7-yard line. Tywan Jones, and brought down just short. And there's a flag down on the field. He's just short of the 30-yard line.
During the return, holding, return team number 56, 10-yard penalty, 1st and 10.
Second penalty on the Saints as we welcome you to our broadcast booth here in New Orleans. Rondé Barber, Chris Myers, Jen Hale down on the field. Hope you're enjoying the start to the season. Well, we thought we'd see points. So which defense is more likely to step up here to make a difference?
I got to expect that Khalil Mack and Bruce Irvin will get going here and try to start to stem the tide of this Saints offense that is rolling right now. And now we got the Saints defense and these young corners out here. Let's see how they match up against Derek Carr.
Penalty backs Carr up on first down, and receiver smothered. That's Crabtree, and here comes a flag at the 25-yard line. Delvin Breaux on the coverage.
Pass interference defense number 40. Spot foul, automatic first down.
Not much here. You match up at the top of your screen and good jam at the line of scrimmage. I mean, to me, it looks like Michael Crabtree is going down on his own volition there, and Delvin Breaux's just in the area. Now, this is a guy that I really like. He's only his second year, really. You know he's older, but he had that great story that we can tell about later. But he is the best corner on this football team. He's going to need to step up today.
Latavius Murray met hard at the line of scrimmage. No gain. Craig Robertson on the tackle. Let's check in again with Carissa Thompson.
Chris, how about this one? San Diego at Kansas City. The first rounder in 2015, Melvin Gordon, he didn't score at all last year. He's got 2 touchdowns on the day. The Chargers up 14-3. Chris, Rondé, and Jen.
Thanks, Carissa. Drew Brees will return to San Diego to take on the Chargers later this season. Derek Carr just worried about getting a first down on 2nd and 9. Incomplete. Coverage was good by P.J. Williams.
P.J. Williams, second-year player out of Florida State. We know he was on IR last year with the injury. He's got great movement, P.J. Williams. Awesome ball skills right there. Without affecting, Amari Cooper gets the PBU.
On 3rd down and 9 from the 26. Extra pressure coming. Carr gets away. Carr gets the first down, leaping through the air. Devontae Harris over there.
Chris, you made a point about Derek Carr's eyes when he was coming out of the tunnel and how intense he was. Most quarterbacks just take this out of bounds and maybe get the first down, but no way with Derek Carr. Knew he had another yard to get, and that is just a wow play by a young quarterback.
A guy who said he had to manage his emotions so that he could be a better leader. He let him go there. Tywan Jones in the backfield after an 11-yard run in a key spot. Jones the football, and he is in trouble. Breaux is back there, a swarm of Saints and a flag down, and he's down around the 30.
Personal foul, face mask, offense number 22. 15-yard penalty, replay, first down.
Delvin Breaux got up and knew right away that this penalty was coming. This is a major loss here with the loss on the yardage, and then of course the added on penalty. In the past, this only used to be a defensive penalty. A couple of years ago, they did the right thing and made the offense responsible for hands to the face as well. And
coming from a former Pro Bowl defensive back.
I'm biased at times.
So with the penalty and the loss of yardage, it's 2nd down and 18. Murray is in for Tywan Jones. Straight ahead Murray. It's interesting, Derek Carr was 6 for 6 to start the game, and Amari Cooper, the rookie receiver, we've also seen Willie Snead.
Rookie from last year, yes.
So yes, from last year, those were the 2 rookie reception leaders last year. Cooper had 72 catches and Willie Snead was 69, and both of them are starting their 2nd year in the league in fine fashion. Cooper has 4 catches already. Snead has 5. DeAndre Washington in on 3rd and 9. Extra pressure coming. Flag down. Another flag.
I think we're going to get some sort of hold here. These screens are supposed to be quick hitting.
There is no foul for defensive holding.
This goes back to the play that we saw earlier in the game when the running back gets into the line of scrimmage trying to get out of the screen. There's no chance for him to get a holding penalty if the offensive line grabs him. And think about it, it could be a running play. It could have that impetus to think that they can't get out of the backfield. So I know they're asking for it, but it's not a penalty.
And both coaches are having trouble understanding that when it's their team on offense.
No, they know the rules. They just don't want to believe that it's the way it actually happens.
Marquette King standing inside the 25 of the Raiders to punt. Marcus Murphy for the return. A high kick that will drop and go into the end zone. So a break for the Saints as they'll come out after Derek Carr and the Raider offense stall. Derek Carr from Fresno State. Look at the Saint, former college teammate of him, laughing. That's Tyler Davison. Smiling, yes, right there with his former college teammate, and then Carr taps him on the helmet.
Teammates never forget themselves.
College or pro, they love the game. They play the game to win.
That was a good moment.
Yeah, competing with each other. And now the Saints have the football at the 20.
3, ready, you ready? Let's up.
Mark Ingram into a crowd. Drew Brees, that contract, he told us, whatever you read, whatever the numbers are, it's essentially this year and next year, and that's all that is guaranteed.
Well, I think the big thing is it gave some cap relief to a team that's really kind of strapped for cash, and then they're going to need to sign some other players. So him, taking one for the team, as I think Sean Payton said, is good for this organization at the moment.
But he wants to play for a lot more years than the contract. And he's on target there for a first down across the 30 to Michael Thomas, and that's his Ohio State second-round pick, his first catch. And these are impressive numbers. Those pass yards are 7,000 more yards than anybody else in that time. That's amazing.
Add on another 131 so far today, and the completion percentage, that number at the bottom, almost 68%, is what blows my mind. Doing it so consistently for so long. No signs of slowing down.
Ingram. Tough run. Just stopped short of the 40 and shoved back earlier.
Well, I continue to be impressed with the left side of this offensive line, and two big runs that we've seen right through the gut of the two guys that we had the most questions about. Andrus Peat, who struggled in the preseason, playing right guard. They moved him to left guard just the week before the regular season, and he's showing up pretty well today.
Peat, who played his college ball at Stanford after a gain of 9. Ingram, the first down, still churning. I want to go back to Brees for just a moment, who told us, and we saw the numbers, he said, I always play, he said this in his news conference with the contract, I always play like I'm on a one-year contract. Then he paused, he said, heck, even a one-game contract, you're as good as your last play.
I love the thought of that, but we all know who Drew Brees is and what he means, not only to the league, but definitely to the New Orleans Saints. I think they're going to continue to do right by him as long as he keeps putting up the numbers that he's putting up.
And durable. I mean, he's only missed a couple of games in his Saint career as Hightower carries.
I want to go back, Chris, to the stop that Saints defense had. Really kind of felt like a back-and-forth game. Go down and kick a field goal, down, kick a field goal, then you get to score. At this point, this juncture in the game, you're in the second quarter, halfway through. A stop on defense can galvanize your team. And this New Orleans Saints, back in the day, when I was playing against these guys, would get a stop on defense, go down and score, and the route was going. See if they're able to continue this impressive start on offense.
Brees. Open. Cooks. He steps out of bounds around the Raider 40.
Brandon Cooks had over 1,100 yards, but watch this route. It's a out, in, and then come back, and he's got David Amerson like a topsy-turvy top. Can't get right on this throw. Nice delivery by Drew Brees, but you talk about his weapons. This is the most exciting one. Number 10 in white. Expect big things from him.
Easy, kill. Like 50, bam. Ready. You ready?
After a gain of 16, first down from the 40. That's the rookie Thomas again. Michael Thomas inside the 15 of the Raiders.
The Raiders are out here playing a bunch of man-to-man defense. Sean Smith, free agent, goes to shoot, but look at the route by the young player, using his hands to get free, and then after the catch, got to maintain your leverage if you're Sean Smith, and picks up some extra yardage there.
Second-round draft pick. He played at Taft High School in Woodland Hills, California, and they drafted him out of Ohio State. Gain of 25 on that play. Breeze, end zone. The catch is held on to. Brandon Cooks has a touchdown.
Well, Chris, this is the fast break nature of this offense that I'm talking about. Quick scores. You get a stop on defense. How many plays was that drive? About 5 or 6 plays. But watch him thread the needle. Brandon Cooks in the slot right here. The littlest guy, receiver on his team. Nice move on DJ Hayden, and just a pinpoint accurate throw by Drew Brees for the touchdown.
He's feeling it. It was an 8-play drive. And Rodney, interesting, last drive it was Willie Snead. This time he starts working to Thomas and then back to Cooks. And the Raider defense is twisting and turning.
Well, you got to be. When you have this many wide receivers, this type of option, add in the rookie Michael Thomas and the tight end Kobe Fleener to the two Brandon Cooks and Willie Snead from last year, and watch out.
Will Lutz, the extra point for the rookie kicker. Drew Brees already 2 touchdown passes. The Saints have moved in front of the Raiders here in the second quarter. Brees with his second touchdown today. He came in tied with Tom Brady for 3rd all-time in NFL history behind Peyton Manning and Brett Favre. And with 2 now, he moves up by himself, 430 in his career.
Well, at this pace, he's only going to need a couple more years to get 109 more throws.
Will Lutz. Tywan Jones from the 5. Just stopped short of the 25. Derek Carr and the Raiders, who led in this game, are now trailing by 7 because of Brees and Cooks. Saints starting corner Delvin Breaux being checked on the sideline. Ken Crowley, the rookie from Colorado, would be his backup with P.J. Williams at the other corner. There's Crowley to come in as the Raiders take over on first down.
Now, what's up?
Carr for Crabtree off his fingers.
Crowley is the 3rd corner. Devontae Harris, number 21, playing in the slot, I think is the 2nd corner, Chris, to get you right. But as you look at this secondary now, you have P.J. Williams, a 2nd-year player, really a 1st-year player, and these 2 undrafted rookies at corner. One playing inside, one playing outside, and I know that they're high on them, but they got no experience under their belt, and they got a tough test in Derek Carr.
They picked up veteran Sterling Moore, but he is inactive today.
What's up?
Murray has a hole, spun in the air. Not a first down quite, but it'll make it 3rd down and short. Let's check in with Jennifer Hill.
Well, Chris, this is a very young group of defensive backs for the New Orleans Saints, but they have an excellent and motivating coach in Aaron Glenn. He told me, yes, he pushes their buttons more than most, but he also tells them every day how much he loves them. He told them it was okay to be nervous today. That means they're alive. And these guys told me that made them feel much better, much more confident coming into today.
On 3rd down and 1, it's going to be a first down. Latavius Murray, but a flag comes in on the back end of the play as he got across the 40-yard line.
Holding, offense, number 88, 10-yard penalty, replay, 3rd down.
That call is on Clive Walford. It will negate the first down run. Gabe Jackson, by the way, has come back in. Earlier we showed him on the Raiders sideline being tended to.
Gabe, there's your hold right here on Kenny Vaccaro. See the stretch of the jersey going to the ground. That's a correct call. Now, Jim talked about the young corners. They got a test now. 3rd and long. Toughest situation for young corners to get used to. See what Derek Carr has for him.
Third down and 9 from the Raider 23. Underneath, Washington has it, protecting the football short of the first down.
Well, now you get another stop by this Saints defense, and good job. Good job on the call, first of all, playing some soft coverage, let them catch it in front of you, take away the deep stuff, and come up and make a tackle. And all you're doing now is giving the ball back to Drew Brees, who has been the executioner of a hot start for this Saints offense. You get another chance here before the 2-minute warning.
Execute, you make him sound so vicious. I can tell you played against him. Marquette King with a high kick from the 26, Murphy. And knocked backwards as he gets up across the 30-yard line. Saturday college football kicks off with Iowa State taking on 15th-ranked TCU. That's at noon Eastern on FS1. 4th-ranked Ohio State battling 14th-ranked Oklahoma at 7 Eastern on Fox. And the rookie from Ohio State, Michael Thomas, with a couple of catches, and the veteran from Ohio State, signed as a free agent, the longtime Ram, helping to run the Saints defense. 17-10, the Raider defense, as you pointed out, Rondé, on the spot, having in your days as a Tampa Bay Buccaneer in the secondary played against Brees in this offense. This is where you want to keep them from pouring it on.
Easy, 5-0, 5-0, 5-0. Ready, listen.
Pass is complete to Thomas, who makes the catch short of the first down.
You know, since that first sack early in the game by Bruce Irvin, have not seen much of a pass rush on Drew Brees. He's been clean in the pocket. I have not mentioned Khalil Mack yet today. Know how dominant he was, but he's notoriously slow starter to the season. He's going to need to fire himself up here, get after the quarterback.
Straight ahead, Ingram. We're reaching the 2-minute warning here in just a few seconds. We'll see on this spot how close it is. It'll be, looks like 3rd down and within a yard. Saints have the football. They have the lead. Opening weekend in New Orleans. You can follow your favorite team all season long. Go to itunes.com/NFL. Well, you talked at the beginning of the broadcast about Mack being a game wrecker. Khalil Mack has not been much of a factor in the first half, at least visibly.
Lining up on either side of the ball here. I've seen him mostly over there working on Teron Armstead at left tackle. He's getting some chips from the tight end, but he is such a dominant player. 2-minute situations, you know he's going to get to pin his ears back because the offense is going to be in that hurry-up mode. See if he can get to the quarterback and cause some disruption here. 3rd
down and under a yard. They measured during the break to show how short it was, and this is what, with all 3 timeouts for Drew Brees, he loves to control this part of the game. Straight ahead is Brees. And until they sort through the pile, how does the official see all this?
Well, we always talk about this, Chris, on these dives into the
where the ball
mass
is
of the body. We have no idea where the ball is. I mean, we're as blind to it as you are on watching it on TV.
And that yellow line is superimposed for us in the TV audience. They don't have the benefit of that.
That yellow line is there to make us feel good about saying first down or not.
Of course, now they're watching at the command center in New York, where they can help the officiating crew and the replay official immediately if needed. Oh, I don't think he likes the spot. Of course, you can challenge a spot.
I think they're inclined to stick with the spot, especially on these type of plays where there's just a mass of bodies that you can't get there. But yeah, that's close, couple of inches. He's saying no way.
The different points of view when you're on one side and it's your defense and then it's your offense. So it is a first down. Saints with all 3 of their timeouts and the clock running here.
Ready?
Incomplete. He had room to run and he could have gotten out of bounds, but Cadet couldn't hold on.
New Orleans Saints have all 3 timeouts here, so you don't necessarily need to see balls to the sideline. He can take his time, find receivers over the middle of the field, pick out the right play basically, and Cadet's got to make that catch. No, it's a little bit low. Running backs are so valuable out of the backfield for this Saints offense, and let him down right there.
Ready? Like 50. Ready?
Breeze fakes and goes down. There's a flag in the secondary as Bruce Irvin gets the sack, but let's check. It's at the 46-yard line of the Raiders.
Holding, defense, number 25, 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
That call is on the former first-round draft pick DJ Hayden, who was a starter last year but has been pushed out of that role.
You're going to see this kind of route by Willie Snead, DJ Hayden, really good position, and I mean, that's not pass interference. I mean, I know it's the call, and they saw a little bit of drag, but that's a fortunate call.
Incomplete again. That play, who's ever calling that one, I would discard it from the.
Absolutely, it's a sack. And Drew Brees is not looking to that side of the field. There's a sack in the backfield, and you just let him off the hook.
But DJ Hayden, as he lined up mostly against Snead in this game, he really is the slot corner.
He's the slot corner, and they're not tracking receivers, so to speak. DJ Hayden, who started outside last year for the Oakland Raiders, had a good camp. Talking to their DB coach Rod Woodson on the sideline, he said the guy knows that he has to perform. He's had a good camp, and he's expected to make some plays here for the Oakland Raiders secondary.
All right, same play again. Cadet spins out of a tackle. They saw something over there they liked, the Saints did, as he goes out of bounds, so the clock stops. Let's check it again with Carissa Thompson.
Chris, Green Bay at Jacksonville, and this is something Packers fans have had to wait since December of 2014 to hear, a Rodgers to Jordy Nelson connection. Green Bay's up 14-10. Chris?
All right, thank you very much. Jacksonville, big expectations there for a team on the rise, but trailing Aaron Rodgers, Jordy Nelson and the Packers. So 3rd down and 4 from the 47 of the Raiders. Incomplete. Cooks was in the area. Brees had to throw it a lot earlier than he wanted to.
Good stop by this Raiders defense, and you know we all watching it up here, you guys watching on TV felt the momentum change midway through that second quarter with this New Orleans Saints offense. They finally got to stop here on defense to get a chance to return and give the ball back to Derek Carr, most importantly, with enough time to see if he can get down here and put some points on the board.
They'll have a minute 20, but the Raiders have 2 timeouts. On the other side of that, Rondé, if the Saints defense can get a quick 3 and out from the Raiders, they'll have good field position and 3 timeouts to work with for Brees. Thomas Morstead, one of the 50 all-time great Saints named, and this is the 50-year anniversary of the franchise. There's a flag here. Intentional delay.
Delay game, offense, 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
Morstead wanting a little more room, hoping to pin him in there. His 8th season with the Saints. Ranked 2nd in NFL history with a career net punting average just at 41 yards behind Johnny Hecker of the Rams. A booming kick. TJ Carey inside the 10. Spun around at the 17-yard line. Good special teams tackle by Daniel Lasco. Well, Drew Brees' numbers, 200 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, and he has the Saints in front.
Well, they are, talk about how hot this offense has started. The gasoline that started that fire was Drew Brees, finding 4 different receivers, 2 touchdowns, and he looks like the Drew Brees that we all know and love, delivering the ball on time, on target. They got a 17-10 lead here right before the half.
So it's Derek Carr with 2 timeouts and 1:11. Underneath, knocked to the ground is Clyde Walford, a little short of the first down. Clock continuing to run. You get the sense that Carr would love to throw deep on every down if he could.
Well, there's shots built in almost every single play, but 2-minute situations about moving the ball, keeping the clock, managing the clock, I should say.
I think they wanted to get the first down before using a timeout here.
And picking up first downs. That was exactly going to be my thought, Chris. They weren't able to, doesn't look like they were able to get it there, so they're going to have to spend a timeout.
They did get the first.
They did get the first down.
But a lot of time went off in between those 2 plays, and now they have 45 seconds, and we have an injured Raider on the field. Menelik Watson, the right tackle, is in pain, and Austin Howard is inactive, the backup right tackle. He had an injury. Vidal Alexander is inactive, a little thin numbers-wise on the offensive line for Jack Del Rio.
This is always a concern.
Oakland will be charged their first timeout. New Orleans has 3 timeouts remaining. Their timeout is restored.
Menelik Watson right here is your right offensive tackle, and just as this ball goes down in here, he gets caught up in the wash, and you just can't really see with that picture, but definitely tangled up. He's on the ground, and you can tell that he's just twisted up, but he's off the field. He's walking off the field. And without Austin Howard, who is back at home, back in Oakland with an injury, Matt McCants is the only available tackle for this Oakland Raiders offense, and hopefully Menelik Watson is okay.
He's upset, taking it out on the bench.
He was coming off an Achilles tear last year. He had big expectations and really a lot of hope for this position until he got hurt last preseason. You just hate to see the frustration on his face in his first game this season.
So that is Matt McCants, who's in at that position, right tackle. It is a first down with now 1 timeout for the Raiders, just short of their own 30. Carr, short pass, but good enough to be near a first down. Seth Roberts, the slot receiver, with the catch. It's one thing to be upset about the competition in the game, but when an injury takes you out, you don't know who else you can take it out on. 2nd and 1. Carr fakes, and then he throws for the first down just across the 45, but there's under 20 seconds. Crabtree with that catch. He wants to spike it and save the timeout.
They got a strong leg kicker. They probably only need about 15 yards here, Chris, to give him an opportunity to take a long shot. So you get the spike here.
Well, now you only have 6 seconds.
You try to get the maybe 10 yards on this next play. You still have the timeout, and I just don't know if it's possible.
Well, it looked like there was time going by spotting the ball.
I think they should have taken a timeout right there. And then your next play, make it to the sideline, and if that's incomplete or whatnot, then you take a shot at the end zone on a Hail Mary. Let's see what they got dialed up here.
As they tend to Watson to calm him mentally and physically. 6 seconds remain in the half. And looks like the Saints want a timeout. And I'm sure Jack Del Rio instructing, or Derek Carr, whatever we get, as soon as we make the play, we need to call time unless we're in the end zone to give a chance for Janikowski.
I mean, I don't have the stats on how long an average NFL play is, Chris, but 6 seconds doesn't seem like a lot of time.
Not for anything of beyond 15 yards.
Anything beyond 10, 15 yards. But again, you have a kicker in Sebastian Janikowski whose, leg, at least when he was young, I know he's in his 17th year, felt like it was limitless. He could make almost any kick.
Well, if he makes a 50-yarder, he will be the all-time NFL record holder for kicks beyond 50 yards. But he needs the opportunity at age 38. You see the Saints drop 3 safeties. They're practically out in the French quarter. How far back they are, standing around the 30-yard line.
Down there this week, Chris? I didn't know.
I was working this weekend. Carr, quick sideline throw. Not sure what that was about, but they're going to use a timeout with 2 seconds. This is the place that Tom Dempsey, well, this city, I should say, was at Old Tulane Stadium. Tom Dempsey at the time set a record field goal kick, but I don't know if Janikowski is up to this one.
Well, that wasn't the play I think we were all expecting.
You know, one of the great in the 50th year of the franchise, there is Tom Dempsey at Old Tulane Stadium, 63 yards. This is the 50th year of this Saint franchise. Began with a bang. But it looks like maybe a Hail Mary running out.
Definitely a Hail Mary here. Sebastian Janikowski is sitting on the sideline wondering what that play was too.
Well, maybe they'll
2-yard out.
I mean, would you even risk a Hail Mary unless you're hoping for a penalty? Brad Seeley, the special teams coach.
The play can't end. That's a good question. It's half can't end on a defensive penalty. It's probably the only option they're going to have here to get some points on the board. Amari
Cooper weaving his way and down at the 35-yard line.
Or you can just pad your stats and throw a little hitch to Amari Cooper.
Well, the Raiders will get the football to start the second half. At least the Saints will be kicking off to the Raiders. But at the half, the Saints with a 17-10 lead. Let's head to Kurt Menefee in Houston for the Visa halftime show with all the scores and highlights. Today's excitement brought to you by the new Nissan Titan. It's been an up and down first half for Derek Carr and the Raiders. Selling out to try and get his team closer to the Saints. Raiders led early. Drew Brees a couple of touchdowns, and the Saints lead 17-10 as they get ready to kick off to start the third quarter here in the Superdome with Rondé Barber, Chris Myers. And nice to have you watching. Hope you're enjoying the excitement of opening weekend. And I think if you're a Saints fan, right, if you think about the Saints defense, it's the big uneasy, but they've held up fine in this game.
Well, they've simplified. Dennis Allen simplified the defense. There's no exotics to confuse these players, and they're playing fast. And I think we're seeing with a lot of young guys, especially at corner, they're holding up against some pretty good receivers of the Oakland Raiders.
And if you're the Raiders here, you know you have a lot of weapons. You want to score points. They started out okay. It looks like something happened, and they aren't quite clicking.
Well, I think that's got to start on defense with the Raiders, Chris. They got to get some stops. Through that second quarter, the New Orleans Saints did whatever they wanted, getting up and down the field and scoring touchdowns. They get some stops, get it back to the offense, and if they can find some balance. They've only got 10 running plays so far in the first half to 26 passes. That's got to even itself out, slow the tempo of this game down, and give Derek Carr and this offense a chance.
Only turnover of the game. It was early when the Raider defense got to Brees and he fumbled the football, but the Saint defense held the Raiders to a field goal at that time. So Derek Carr and the Raider offense will have a chance to respond. Tywan Jones in the end zone to return the kick of Will Lutz, the rookie free agent who has done well when he's had the opportunity today. And he booms this one into the end zone. Raider offense starts at the 25-yard line. Let's head back to the field and Jennifer Hale.
Well, Chris, Sean Payton is a happy coach right now. He's enjoying the balance his offense is having. He told me the key against Khalil Mack today has been getting a second hand on him, a bump or a nudge. Also, being smart about where they throw the ball. As far as Delvin Breaux, Payton tells me he doesn't think it's a serious injury, but he's stopping short of putting a timetable on Delvin's return. Jack Del Rio, meanwhile, says he's pleased with both Derek Carr and Khalil Mack's performance. What he's unhappy about is the officiating, and he says he wants some answers. Chris?
All right, Matt McCants is in at the right tackle spot for Watson, who went out injured. 3 receivers bunched at the bottom of your screen on first down, and DeAndre Washington, the rookie from Texas Tech, carries.
You know, Chris, when I was watching the preseason film of the Raiders, now we know Latavius Murray is a big back, can carry the load, took 73% of the carries last year, but the film just looked faster when DeAndre Washington was in the game. He's not tall in stature. He's got big legs. He can break tackles, does a lot of good things as an inside runner, and he's a good changeup when this guy is on the sideline.
And Murray watching. He has the only touchdown for the Raiders. Washington remains in at running back.
No! Blue Whitey! What's up?
Washington the carry. Bring up third down. Washington is a fifth-round pick, and he rushed for over 2,500 yards in his last couple of seasons at Texas Tech, but he's only 5'8", and that's the same height as Jalen Richard, the other young back, the rookie from Southern Miss, who they like to use.
The free agent that they kind of stole. You see them dapping each other up as they go to the sideline. Those two guys could be a future of this Raiders backfield along with Latavius Murphy. Got empty formation here. Derek Carr knows he's going to get a matchup he likes. Let's see which one he picks out.
Need to get to the 35-yard line, and the pass is incomplete. Quickly thrown for Cooper. Here comes Mark King and the punting team. Marcus Murphy will be back to return.
Well, you're the Raiders. You wanted to come out and at least get a first down, get something going here, but instead you got to bring out the punting unit. And Marcus Murphy, who's had ball handling issues somewhat in the preseason, has got a good opportunity for a return here.
But the Saint defense coming up big once again. King, who has a 62-yarder already, drives Murphy back to the 15. He slips through a couple of Raiders. Met hard as a flag comes down, and he comes down at the 26-yard line. Darren Bates on the special teams play. A terrific directional kick that was well covered.
During the return, illegal block in the back. Return team, half the distance to the goal, 1st and 10, timeout.
That'll back up the Saints on offense, but they have a 17-10 lead. Familiar scene from the French Quarter and here in the Superdome. You never know what you're going to get. You do know you'll get a loud crowd. Saints on offense now from the 10-yard line. A lot of Raider fans in town. They travel well. It's Mark Ingram, met hard and knocked backward by Malcolm Smith.
Wow, you know, they talk about this Raiders linebacking core being somewhat undersized, but what they can do is run. Malcolm Smith shot a gap right there and was clean to the running back for that tackle for loss.
The rushing yards even at this moment.
See him right here. Just watch him find this gap. Unscathed, great tackle.
Neither team has been able to run for more than 50 yards so far. 2nd and 11. There's a whistle and a flag.
False start. Offense number 68. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
That's on Tim Lolito in his 4th year. But what was it Sean Payton said about his plays? He said, it's a young team. I want them to know the verse to the song before we get too carried away with me and my number of plays.
What a great analogy. And that goes back to what's happening on defense with this team. Keep it simple. Obviously, we know they're very multiple on offense, can do a lot of different things.
From his own end zone, Cooks hauls in the breeze pass, but he's brought down at the 10 by David Amerson right away.
That's a tough tackle for David Amerson. He does well to get Brandon Cooks on the ground there, because we saw what he did to a couple other players earlier in the game. And Brandon Cooks at the top of your screen, just a quick out. You know it's coming out on time. And David Amerson, I've been in this situation. That miss, if he misses that tackle, that's about 10 yards. Good play by the young corner.
Now 3rd down and 9. Kobe Fleener, tight end they signed, who starts, has not had a catch today. Cadet is in the backfield. Breeze looks one way and throws the other, but short of the 1st down. Michael Thomas on the catch.
That play almost looked like they were just looking for a couple extra yards to get their punt unit on the team, and talked about it at half, coming out of the half, that the Raiders defense needed a stop. Get a backed up stop. You're guaranteed to get some good field position on this return.
Thomas Morstead in, and Jalen Richard now back to try and return. He's the rookie we talked about, the free agent who can fly, so Del Rio may be looking for a spark here. Richard has it. And Richard hits Saints territory, although a flag down as he gets to the New Orleans 40.
Ooh, I tell you what, buddy, that is an exciting young player. I know there's going to be a penalty on the return team here, but he made some nice shifty moves on that return. You can see why they're so excited about these two young running backs.
During the return, holding, number 41 return team. 10-yard penalty, 1st and 10, timeout on the field.
Trawick, who was signed for his special teams work from the Ravens, called for the penalty, and Del Rio's upset. Going to back up his offense even more. Michael Crabtree, just 1 catch today. Last season, he had at least 3 catches in every game and 3 100-yard games.
Now! Blue 80! What's up?
First down from the 30-yard line. Carr to Crabtree.
Well, you mentioned him, and there he is.
Right on cue. Let's get an update on Delvin Breaux with Jennifer.
Well, Chris, it's good news for Saints fans. Right now, Delvin Breaux still working through a left lower leg injury. I've been watching him massaging his calf and his ankle area, but he is probable to return, Chris.
That's good. The Saints have allowed a touchdown pass in the last 24 straight games, but not today. Of course, it's not over as Crabtree makes another catch.
There are your 3 catches right there, Chris. Right on cue.
Yes, I think Crabtree mentioned that in the huddle.
You know, there's a little bit of imbalance, you know, in the passing offense. The leading receiver, Amari Cooper, had 5 receptions. Everybody else only had 1 target. So I think they made a concerted effort here, start this second half, to get some of these guys involved. And Michael Crabtree, Derek Carr told us, is the best route runner on this Oakland Raiders offense, and he needs to get his touches.
First down 10 from the Raider 43. Johnny Holton in motion. He's the speedster. Handoff Murray, straight ahead. Latavius Murray. He might have another first down. He's into Saints territory. Let's get a game break. Here's Carissa Thompson.
Thanks, Chris. Keeping an eye on the NFC South here. Tampa Bay at Atlanta. Austin Zafarian Jenkins, a 30-yard touchdown catch from Jameis Winston. That's Winston's 3rd of the game. Bucks up 24-13, Chris.
Thanks, Carissa. Big things expected from Jameis Winston, who had an outstanding rookie season.
We had him in the preseason, Chris. We know what he looks like. He's a talent.
Now! Blue 80! What's up?
Murray gets the first down after he picked up 9 on the previous down.
I want to go back to this run, this first one. And we talk a lot about this offensive line. Watch these 2 guys. There's going to be a double team. You're going to push off, and then you got to climb to the next level. Watch him get to the next level and get his body on James Laurinaitis here, and this is why this explodes through there. Great job by this Oakland Raiders offensive line.
From the 45, fresh set of downs, and you see the numbers. That was the highest in the NFL. Murray carrying the load. So Taiwan Jones in to give him a breather, and Carr incomplete on the run, trying to get to Amari Cooper. Cooper does have 5 catches for 94 yards today.
That should have been a 6th catch. Good route, little pivot route on the corner there, and then great delivery. We had some issues with drops last year. I wouldn't necessarily call that a drop. It was a little bit out of his reach, but I would expect a receiver the caliber that Amari Cooper is to come down with that one.
Yeah, he also had a foot injury late in the year. They're not even really sure where it started, but it did bother him, and he played through it.
Seen this formation a bunch. Bunch receivers up top. You get an isolation top of the screen. Let's see what we get.
Washington gets the football. Knocked down at the 46-yard line. Excellent defensive play as John Jenkins, backup lineman, getting some support from Craig Robertson.
Craig Robertson's playing today because Donnell Ellerbe is sidelined with a quad injury. And they made a lot of additions in the offseason. Linebacker was probably the best. James Laurinaitis, Robinson provide a lot of depth for the Saints defense.
Carr on 3rd and 10. For Cooper, incomplete. He showed you some arm strength there, but it's 4th down.
I want a little fade away here, and there's a little bit of pressure on him, but he had his receiver. Good route by Amari Cooper. Derek Carr is not able to put it where he needs to, floated a little bit out of bounds.
So they stretched, but the Saint defense did not snap, and now Marquette King is on, and back to receive the punt, Jarris Bird, for the first time today for the Saints.
Keep mentioning it, Chris, but this Saints defense, I mean, I'm impressed. Keep getting off the field, giving your offense an opportunity. A marked improvement over what we saw last year from the unit.
They play the position game, and it's well played. Bounces into the arms of Andre Holmes, and Marquette King dropping that one inside the 5, down at the 2-yard line. That's where the Saint offense will take over because of his work.
Aaron Glenn, the defensive back coach here in the New Orleans Saints, first year here, and working with a bunch of young guys, and 5 straight possessions that the Raiders have not scored on offense, and Derek Carr has got to be frustrated on that sideline. That unit that they thought that they had an opportunity to take advantage of is performing well. And here's Delvin Breaux looking to get back into this football game and add his contribution.
Yeah, the Raider defense is without Nate Allen, who started. He's over on the bench watching. Keith McGill has been in with Reggie Nelson at the safety spot. From the 2-yard line, Tim Hightower standing in his own end zone behind Breeze. Breeze on the run. Brandon Cooks. It's going to be 98 yards for a touchdown.
Well, let me tell you what, Brandon Cooks can fly. And we all know this. The Raiders know this. And yet, Ken Norton decides to put his corner, Sean Smith, man-to-man, and you cannot do this as a corner. Open up the gate, a free run down the sideline, and I mean, I know he's talented and he's tall. There is no way he's keeping up with Brandon Cooks. And we talk about explosiveness. It's back here in New Orleans.
You talk about taking the top off a defense. It may take the top off this Superdome. The crowd erupting as Breeze delivers on his 3rd touchdown pass of this game.
And that was
the roof is still on, by the way.
It's still on
at the moment.
It's on.
We still got another quarter plus to play here as the defensive coordinator of the Raiders exasperated over there, Ken Norton.
I'd be wary about putting any corner one-on-one with Brandon Cooks. I know you got some talent on that secondary, but that guy could just flat out run, Chris.
And that was confirmed. They just want to make sure that Brandon Cooks' scoring plays to be confirmed. He did not step out of bounds. So the extra point from Will Lutz, it's good. Brandon Cooks, who will turn 23 years old later this month, gives the Saints the lead on a 98-yard catch and carry. That is a Saints record, franchise record, 98-yard touchdown catch by Brandon Cooks from Drew Brees. The old record of 96 yards was held by Billy Kilmer.
Sean Smith was on the sideline chewing himself out, pacing. That's a tough task. I almost feel sorry for him. You get man-to-man down there, and Drew Brees, as good as he is, he's going to find his shot. He took it right there.
Will Lutz delivers the kick. Tywan Jones will down it. Coming out to the 25-yard line, and from our view in the booth, it's been an interesting matchup with this offense of what the Saints have done against a Raider defense, a much improved. In fact, Jack Del Rio said the secondary is the most improved area of our football team.
Well, yeah, it's not showing so much today, and Drew Brees is having a heck of a day throwing the football, finding his 2 main targets, Brandon Cooks and 83. Just they're having a great day. But I got to tell you what, Drew Brees is playing like this. He's the old man in the league. The gauntlet has been passed to Derek Carr. He's got to get his offense going here, score some points.
Brees said this week, "I'll always create a chip on my shoulder to play better." When asked about how many years in his contract, here's a flag on 1st down. See how Carr and the Raiders respond.
False start. Offense number 73. 5-yard penalty. 1st down.
Yeah, and see, that's where McCants, remember, is playing for the injured Menelik Watson. Delvin Breaux has returned to the Saints secondary. And now it's 1st and 15. Raiders, an area that Del Rio would love them to not lead the league in, or at least be at the top, is penalties. Plenty of time, and he has to go short to Latavius Murray, who slips a tackle. And almost, he gains to the 33, just short of the first down.
And now's an opportunity that we're going to see how this Saints defense responds to the pressure of an offense going hurry up. Coming right to the line of scrimmage, Derek Carr, this offense know they got to get back into it right now.
So he wants the ball. The Saint defense wasn't set, but they didn't snap it to him right away, and that's deflected and almost intercepted by Delvin Breaux.
Well, he got lucky here because some dysfunction there at the line of scrimmage, trying to get the ball quick because he knew he had the quick throw.
Laurinaitis got his arm up.
Got his hands on the ball. Could have been a huge turnover. Another momentum swing in favor of the Saints.
Have a timeout. Saints. On 3rd down and 2. And I guess Sean is frustrated that he didn't want to burn a timeout there. Coming up after this, it's America's Game of the Week. Eli Manning, the Giants, go up against Dez. Well, I should say not only Dez Bryant, but the quarterback, the new quarterback.
Dak Prescott,
yes. For the Cowboys. Exciting to watch. Some might see the Lions collide with the Colts, but you'll see the Giants and Cowboys coming up on Fox. America's Game of the Week, part of our doubleheader on opening weekend.
Got to convert a first down here. I know it's still in the 3rd quarter. Do not want to give the ball back to Drew Brees and the Saints offense, who are clicking.
Latavius Murray, good enough for the first down.
Good purposeful run there, and ran it right off the back of Matt McCants, who had the penalty to start this drive. And you've got to make statements. Derek Carr, this offense need a statement. See what they got for this Saints defense that is playing really well.
He's coming. Blue 80! What's up?
Murray again gets up across the 40. Well, Dennis Allen, defensive coordinator, former Raider coach, but the defensive coordinator first year after he spent time with the Saints staff, told us on practice on Friday, Ronnie, that we will not, we know they're a big play team. That's the one thing we won't do is give up the big play, the big score. And so far, they haven't allowed that.
Well, you're not going to see a lot of situations where the corners are in the situation that Sean Smith was in, where they're up at the line of scrimmage playing man. You see a lot of softer zone, a lot of cover 2, protect this lead. That's what Dennis Allen doing. And they didn't necessarily have that mentality last year on defense.
From their own 40 on 2nd down. Carr with a quick drop and a quick throw. Right on target at midfield for a first down. Crabtree wrestling over there, but he held on against Devontae Harris, and that will move the chains.
Derek Carr took a shot right after he let this ball go and put it right on target. Just a little blitz, inside blitz, and Robertson's clean to the quarterback, but he stays in there. Makes a nice throw for that first down.
He just was worried, but he got up. Yeah. He didn't get to see the result of the play. Taiwan Jones comes in from Deer Valley High in the East Bay as Murray takes a breather as the running back. From midfield.
Now! Blue 80! What's up?
Crabtree in motion. Jones has it. Splitting a couple of Saint defenders and fighting his way inside the 35 for another Raider first down.
He ran that like a kickoff return. That's especially Taiwan Jones is a tough football player. To do all the special teams that he does, get an opportunity out here to catch a pass so fast. His lower body's so strong, just running through arm tackles of the Saints defense.
He's the fastest player on the Raider team. Showed some toughness there as Delvin Breaux has yet to get up. If you can read his lips, sound like he said, "I can't get up." Rowe had to be helped off the field, pain in the left leg without use of that. So Devontae Harris and Ken Crawley, both undrafted free agents, come into the secondary. Murray is the back. And Murray's knocked down. He might lose half a yard. Kenny Vaccaro from his safety spot, who was described by the coaching staff as the meanest, toughest player on the team.
Well, he is at his best when he's close to the line of scrimmage. This defense is going to ask him to play a little bit different than Rex Ryan's defense did. But I tell you what, he is a heck of a tackler. He's got that big body. Watch him get low, fire through that tackle. Good play.
And Murray is 6'3". He's a bigger back.
I think I said
than
Rex
most.
Ryan. I meant Rob Ryan.
Rob Ryan, the former
yes.
Saints coordinator.
You know what I mean, not what I said.
Well, they're together now in Buffalo. So a loss of 1. Carr for Crabtree, who has it and works his way to the 15 before going out of bounds. And Crawley on the coverage.
Well, Delvin Breaux had been tracking Michael Crabtree all over the field, and without him, Derek Carr is going to try to take advantage. Look how, I mean, herky-jerky, I don't know what you want to call it, but precise route running, pushed the corner off of him, got a nice completion.
Without a huddle, quick snap, Carr on the move, sees something, it's tipped away. And lucky it wasn't intercepted. He was trying to go to Seth Roberts, but Craig Robertson, the linebacker in place of Ellerby, tipped the ball.
Well, Derek Carr has to be smart down here. I know he was going to try to force that ball in there. Good play by the Saints defense, but could not afford to turn the ball over down here. You got to score. Whether it's a touchdown or a field goal, you need points on the board. It's been 6 drives since they've scored. They're going to have to get one here. They're going to keep pace with the New Orleans Saints.
In comes the speedy DeAndre Washington. He gets the carry, nowhere to go. Lunging forward, and Robertson on the tackle. The Saints playing without their first-round draft choice. You mentioned Sheldon Rankins, who injured his fibula in the preseason. He'll miss at least the first 6 games of the season. And we have McCants down. Remember, he's in for Watson, who's injured. In pain.
Well, John Feliciano is the only available offensive lineman. And you'll see McCants right in the middle of your screen, big number 73, just get bent over. And that looks like it's got to be something going on with his left knee or leg. And this is not good for the Oakland Raiders offense. Down to now only 5 healthy linemen. And this is something new that the league is doing. Both teams are being led off the field. You know, years past you've seen players huddle around. The only person that could come out and see him is the head coach, and there's Jack Del Rio.
Matt McCants helped off the field. John Feliciano comes in to take his rotation.
And John Feliciano really is a guard center swing guy, so he's going to go to guard, and it looks like Kelechi Osemele is going to go to left tackle, where he played some with the Baltimore Ravens.
Mike Tice, offensive line coach, hoping on 3rd and 8. Jameis Olawale's in the game. And Carr to throw for the end zone, knocked away, incomplete. There were 2 different Raider receivers that looked like they had a shot at it. Clive Wolford was the first one.
He put a good ball here. I know he was a little bit hurried, and his receiver didn't look like he was ready to catch this. But if we can go back to this offensive line, Donald Penn, who is the starting left tackle for the Oakland Raiders, has moved over to right. Osemele has gone to left tackle, and Feliciano is at left guard. So there's some major shuffle, and we're going to have to see how it affects this offensive line of the Oakland Raiders.
80% career kicker. One season he made 91%. And Sebastian Janikowski makes it easy from 31 yards away to get the Raiders within 11. But in the bigger picture, the Saints defense kept this high-powered Raider offense out of the end zone. Don't forget to check out Damon Wayans and Lane Crawford in Lethal Weapon. It premieres Wednesday, September 21st on Fox.
Well, you got to be encouraged by the drive down the field for this offense. I know they would have loved to get 7 points on the board, but only down 11 now. You put it back on your defense. They need to get a stop. We know they just had the big play by the Saints offense. Nice response. They need a stop on defense. They got to get a stop on defense, get the ball back, see if we can make this a game.
And you wonder, can the Saints defensive line take advantage of the shuffled Raider offensive line, or can Derek Carr take advantage of the injury in the Saints secondary to Delvin Breaux? That'll be part of the story. But the headline, we talked about quarterbacks coming in. Drew Brees has lived up to his end of the bargain. The Saints defense, I would say, may be surprising some people so far today.
Drew Brees, 300 yards, 309 yards on the day already, 3 touchdowns. I'm wary if I'm an Oakland Raider, him getting back on the field and feeling himself right now, because it seems like he can do no wrong.
Janikowski bounces one. Marcus Murphy scoops it. And stopped short of the 25-yard line. Let's get an injury update with Jennifer.
Chris, right now Delvin Breaux back in the Saints locker room undergoing x-rays on that left leg to determine exactly what's going on. Meanwhile, this young secondary holding tough without their leader, Aaron Glenn. Very pleased with how they're doing. Obviously, as you and Rondé mentioned, some shuffling and some injuries on the Raiders sideline as well. I'm headed over that way next, Chris.
All right, thanks, Jed. Drew Brees over 300 yards passing. 3 touchdowns, including that 98-yarder. Franchise record to Brandon Cooks.
Hey, 5-0 here, 5-0, 5-0. Ready? You ready? What's that?
Sean Smith is out of the game at the moment for the Raiders secondary. And open at the 30 is Michael Thomas, who gets up near a first down.
Big free agent addition, Sean Smith on the sideline. DJ Hayden playing right corner now for this Oakland Raiders defense. And you got to think it's, he has not had his best day, Sean Smith.
Only 1 sack in this game, and Brees coming without a huddle. The up-tempo pass is complete to Hightower, quickly met by Raiders.
If you're the New Orleans Saints, it's an opportunity to take the kill shot on this Raiders defense. They go down and get a score here. It'll be 3 really uncontested drives, and Drew Brees, Sean Payton, we know they never take their foot off the gas pedal. They're trying to gut you every chance that they get.
Good enough for the first down and keeps the clock running. Tim Hightower remains the back for Brees. Inside handoff, Brandon Cooks. And he gets close to another first down up near the 45-yard line. Remember, things started slowly for Drew Brees. Lost the fumble. The defense kept the Raiders to a field goal. Then he lit it up. Touchdown to Willie Snead, to Brandon Cooks, and then the 98-yarder. Cooks showing off the speed after being backed up at their own 2-yard line. After a gain of 11. Tim Hightower straight ahead, brought down right at the line of scrimmage. Nearing the 1-minute mark in the third quarter. The Raider defense, there's Sean Smith, as you mentioned, looking on. One of those acquisitions along with Reggie Nelson and Bruce Irvin being tested here. Cadet steps out of bounds.
Yeah, Sean Smith, a lot of experience in this league. Started in Miami, had those years last in Kansas City, and you bring him in to really help the secondary. I know they struggled last year on this side of the ball. David Amerson came in as a street free agent after getting cut by Washington, starting on one side. DJ Hayden was not showing the talent of a first rounder, and Sean Smith was supposed to stabilize this unit, and he's had a bad day today, Chris.
Brees Like precision passing here. Willie Snead with a first down inside the 40.
Well, it's easy to blame Sean Smith because he got beat on the long pass, but the rhythm of this New Orleans Saints offense has been outstanding today. Haven't really tried to run the football, but Drew Brees has been awesome when he has to drop back and pass.
But chewing up the clock, and Drew Brees and the Saints are controlling the game at the end of 3 quarters here in New Orleans. The Saints lead the Raiders 24-13. You're watching the NFL on Fox. Rondé Barber, Chris Myers, the start of the 4th quarter on kickoff weekend in New Orleans, and Drew Brees, 97 now, 97 career 300-yard games, an NFL record. Peyton Manning had 93 when he retired. There's no other quarterback at 75, so he continues to pile up the yards, and now an 11-point lead with the football.
Ready? What's that?
What a catch.
How did he catch that?
Michael Thomas in traffic.
Well, this is about as good a coverage you get. DJ Hayden square at the line of scrimmage, hands on, and he looks like he's going to beat him to the ball to swipe. And I'm telling you, look how big his hands are on that football. Jen Hale earlier in the week got a tape measure, and there's a reason why you can make those type of catches.
He has made spectacular catches throughout camp and preseason as Ingram runs hard. Sean Payton, when we asked him about this team, called them a young but group of grinders. And I think that's what he'd like to see here with this lead in the 4th quarter.
Well, they got a bunch of grinders on their team. They got the best quarterback that I played against. And I played against some good ones, but this guy is so consistent, moving the ball, having a sense of purpose, and it's showing today in this offense.
Ready? You ready? Listen.
For the tight end, and incomplete for Colby Fleener. Let's get a game break again. Check in with Carissa Thompson.
Thanks, Chris. Rondé knows a thing or two about some defenses that can score touchdowns. Minnesota at Tennessee. Minnesota now has 2 defensive touchdowns on the day. You had Eric Kendrick's 77-yard pick six, and then you have Danielle Hunter's 24-yard fumble recovery. Both of those players' first career touchdown. Vikes up 22-10. Chris?
All right, thank you. And Rondé, thanks you. You still think the Vikings are a playoff team without hesitation?
I absolutely do. They got some talent on that defense now.
On 4th down, Will Lutz to try from 50. He made from 42 earlier. And in pregame warm-ups hit a 57-yarder. And he misses here. So it remains, even though they chewed up some of the clock, an 11-point Saint lead. After the missed field goal, that in-between area of the field, the Raiders take over at the 40. Carr, Cooper, a block or 2. Here comes a flag, and Cooper stopped at the 48-yard line of the Raiders. Flag came in from the secondary.
Interesting you mentioned, Chris, that in-between area there for the field goal attempt.
Pass interference, offense number 15. 10-yard penalty, replay, first down.
That is the 10th penalty accepted on the Raiders.
You know, you're giving up so much field position. You got an unproven kicker in Will Lutz, and I know Sean Payton doesn't like to punt in situations when he's past the logo in the middle of the field, but there I think I may have tried to pin them inside the 10-yard line. Instead, he goes for the kick and he misses it. Gives pretty good field position to this Raiders offense.
Well, and they were aggressive on 4th down when they got their first touchdown. Of course, the yardage was shorter. But now it's 1st and 20 after another Raider penalty from their own 30. Carr with time. For Cooper, who's open inside the 40 of New Orleans. Down, knocked at the 37 inside the 27-yard line.
I'm going to tell you what. This was one of the longest developing routes I've seen all day, but it is almost impossible if you're a defensive back to cover somebody this long. There's absolutely zero pressure on Derek Carr in the pocket, and Amari Cooper's kind of just stopped, throws his hands up when Carr has bought some time and makes a huge completion to change this field position.
A 43-yard gain without a huddle. Carr Once the football snapped, fakes to Murray. Middle of the field. Crabtree. It'll be 1st and goal Raiders.
How about that throw, Chris? I mean, I know he's strong-armed, and he's really an arms thrower at times. Crabtree right here in the middle of your screen. Watch the 3 Saints defenders in the area here and just dices it between them both. Gets down inside the 5-yard line.
25-yard pickup. End zone throw. Catch made out of bounds. Cooper's already over 130 yards receiving.
Just an ISO. You know what you want. All he's got to do is get his feet down. You know he's going to make the catch with those great hands. One, not quite the other one. And really a good job by P.J. Williams. Continue to push that momentum out of bounds and force that incompletion.
2nd down goal from the 2-yard line. Jameis Olawale checks in, the fullback.
Keep an eye on Andre Holmes. Big, huge target here at the bottom of the screen. You know they're in man-to-man defense.
A 6'4" receiver. Handoff. Jameis Olawale. Touchdown Raiders.
Chris, I think you know better than I do. You call Jameis, I call Andre Holmes, but they're both involved in this play. I'm not gonna give you all the credit, but watch 18 walk in. Talk about the big body. He puts it right on Kenny Vaccaro here on the line of scrimmage. And that's where the gap is. Jameis Olawale is going to run over that corner and that tackling opportunity. Touchdown, Raiders. You gave up the field position. We talked about it a second ago, and now they're going for 2. See if they can get back in this game.
And it can be returned for points by the Saints defense. Jameis Olawale remains in. Trying to make it a 3-point game. Carr throws, knocked away. Coverage was good by Vaccaro on Crabtree.
I'm not sure why Derek Carr didn't put the ball in the flat right away to number 10. Here's the receiver I'm looking at, Seth Roberts. Little sub play, and if he gives it to him right there, he's going to beat 52 to the end zone. But he tries to buy some time and get the ball to Michael Crabtree, and good play by the Saints defense.
Raiders get a touchdown, but trail by 5. Despite the injuries on the offensive line, the Raiders offense marches 60 yards in under 2 minutes, and Jameis Olawale zeroing in on the end zone. The 2-point conversion fails, so the Saints, with the Raiders kicking off, will have a 5-point lead. Look at the total yards already in this game.
Well, that was an important score, Chris. I mean, I'm sitting here saying if the New Orleans Saints score a touchdown on that last drive, then they get to stop at a missed field goal and come back and make this a 5-point game, so good job.
Marcus Murphy with one of the better returns, but people are rolling with him across the 25.
That might be the first time, Chris, that we've seen a return past the 25. So the theory of kicking them short and not giving up those 5 yards is holding true today for both of these teams.
Small screen, stadium-sized content. Watch live, local Sunday games on your smartphone with NFL Mobile. Under 12 minutes to play. The Saints with the football. Breeze for Snead. Well, there were 2 receivers in the area. Looked like Cadet was running out there too. Now there's a flag.
It's going to be pass interference on the defense here.
Pass interference, defense, number 53. First down, spot of the foul.
Time of the game where your big-time players got to start making plays. And haven't mentioned Khalil Mack. He's been invisible all day, but this is what you see. Watch how low he gets to the ground, and he is seconds, inches away from a sack fumble there on Drew Brees. He's going to need to get this motor running and fire up this Raiders defense.
That's a major penalty of 23 yards. There's only been 1 sack of a quarterback in this game. That, remember early when Brees was hit and lost the football and Bruce Irvin got in on Brees. from the 47 of the Raiders.
Ready? Set.
First down, Saints. Breeze hesitates, but then delivers. And Kobe Fleener with his first catch as a member of the Saints.
Well, the Saints are continuing to throw this football. Huge pressure here. 51-52. Both of them beat their tackles, and Drew Brees shot straight to the sternum. You don't want to see him take those kind of hits too often.
So the pressure's been there, but Brees always a manipulator of avoiding the sack.
He's not going to take sacks. That's the thing that makes him so invaluable. Sometimes he does it to the detriment of the team, but he knows what happens when you take sacks in the NFL.
On second down, 4. Sideline deep, and here comes a flag. Cooks was running down the sideline with DJ Hayden.
Hey. I mean, Chris, don't think that I'm being biased because I play corner in
Pass
the league.
interference defense number 45. First down, 45.
He meant 25, DJ Hayden, but he does everything right here in my mind. He wins at the line of scrimmage. He's on top of Brandon Cooks. Great technique there. Turns and looks for the ball. There is no way that's pass interference. Brandon Cooks is already out of bounds. You can call it a long
What
arm,
about
but
the left arm
that
out?
has gone out of football. That is not a call that you should make in this situation.
A 17-yard penalty sets him up with Mark Ingram on first down. And he'll have another first down. All the way inside the 10 of the Raiders.
Well, when they've wanted to run the football, Chris, they've done it, and they've done it with authority. This offensive line, so many questions again in the preseason. This is not at all the team that we see. It's going to come right through here. Mark Ingram breaking a couple of tackles at the beginning. Max Unger, again, the double team, climbing up to the second level to get Heaney there at linebacker. Great cut, and then just Mark Ingram being Mark Ingram.
He's averaged over 5 yards a carry today and 10 carries. This is his 11th on first and goal.
There's no question in my mind, Chris. I know he hasn't been 1,000-yard back, but if he stays healthy, this Saints offense is in for a treat with him.
The last time the Saints had a 1,000-yard rusher was 2006. Deuce McAllister is now part of the radio broadcast team for the Saints with Jim Henderson. Last year, Mark Ingram had 769 yards, but he missed 3 games with an injury. Cadet checks in on second and goal. Breeze in trouble, gets away, then gets rid of it. Still ended up on the ground, but he got rid of the football. What did we just say about not taking sacks?
He doesn't take sacks. Michael Smith right here. Last year had 4 sacks for this Raiders defense. And, I mean, come on, you got to block him. And he may not be mobile. He's not one of those guys you say, oh, he's mobile. But he's shifty. He's got great footwork. Look at the jump skip away from him. And then, again, Chris, you said it. I said it. Will not take sacks. Makes the smart decision. Live to fight another day. And respect knows respect. Good job, Drew Brees.
5-3.
Third down today, 4 out of 10 for the Saints. Brees, was that designed? Looked like a college option or something.
I think when he was back at Purdue, he used to do this. This is Sean Payton. I mean, this is an option.
Okay.
It's a read option. He had to fake to Brandon Cooks, who was on the reverse, trying to pull the defense, and I'm not sure he wanted him to keep that ball.
But maybe Sean Payton was setting up on fourth down. Is he going to go for it with a 5-point lead?
Why would you? Kick the field goal, get up by 8.
They're going to call a timeout. It'll be the second of this half for the Saints.
I mean, I don't think there's any chance this isn't a field goal attempt.
Well, remember, your young kicker just missed a 50-yarder, although he made earlier. This is his first NFL game. But this is will be a chip shot.
I don't think that Sean Payton was having any real considerations of going for it there. It just doesn't make any sense.
Maybe he wanted to force Oakland to use a timeout to try to discuss it.
And he wanted to keep the clock rolling, maybe bite off from some important seconds. But at the same time, he's taking a timeout here. You got to assume that the Raiders, if they go down and score a lost timeout at this juncture in the game, is going to be valuable.
So this will be a 20-yard field goal try. I mean, this is less than an extra point. He's made one, he's missed one in his first game.
He's still a rookie, though, Chris, and I know that they were high on him. Talking to their special teams coordinator, they were tracking him since he came out of college and knew that there was this opportunity to get him if Baltimore released him or tried to hide him on the practice squad, and they went out and got him. So they have confidence in him, but it's still his first game in the NFL.
Snap, hold, and it's good, but it was blocked, but it's still through the uprights. He kicked it with authority.
He really did. I mean, this short of a kick, you don't usually expect a drive kick. You know, a lot of times you see the height, but he just tries to drive this, maybe because of the miss on the last attempt. But I'm telling you, Danico Autry almost made an impossible block for the Raiders.
Raiders trying to win their first season opener for the first time in 5 years. They've lost their last 4, trailing now by 8. Taiwan Jones to receive the kick from Will Lutz, who just made an important field goal. He'll down it. Raiders take over at the 25. Let's listen to Danico Autry getting a hand up, but the kick still went through. You heard the thud. Look at how close this is to getting over the crossbar.
Barely makes it over the crossbar, and pause it right here. Block right there in the middle, 96. And that could have been an enormous play for this Raiders defense. And of course, you got the slower guys on the field. You had opportunity to return, but instead they make it and get up by 8 points.
And Hayden coming in from the side created pressure. Jalen Richard in the game, trailing by 8 from their own 25. Carr floats one to an open receiver, but the ball hung in the air. And Andre Holmes with Kenny Vaccaro there couldn't come down with it.
They brought some pressure, and Derek Carr had a streaking wide receiver here. Good pressure. See the fake, bites up on the corner, but Kenny Vaccaro saves his corner's butt right there, gets over and makes that incompletion.
And the reason he couldn't zip it in was because the pressure had Carr backpedaling. Jalen Richard. He's loose. Jalen Richard. It's going to be a touchdown, Raiders. 75 yards.
What did I tell you earlier, Chris? When these two runners get in the game, the offense speeds up. Now, this is some good running, some bad tackling, but he gets to the second level, and two safeties, two defensive backs, I mean, have an opportunity to close this hole for him, and he's through it like a arrow. Watch this. Laurinaitis gets blocked in the middle of your screen by the center, Rodney Hudson, and then right here, 3 guys, he's through him in a heartbeat. Next thing you know, he's hitting his head on the goalpost.
An unbelievable run from Alexandria, Louisiana. Southern Mississippi, 3-hour drive from here. In his first NFL game, now the Raiders with a 2-point conversion can tie. Carr, end zone catch. Yes, Amari Cooper converts. Close to the line, the official there is elbow bleeding, but he came down with it.
What a game we have here. He knows he's going out here. It's all about getting across the line. Great throw, great catch, 2 points.
Like all combos of quarterback receiver, they spend so much time together to know what the other is thinking. What a way to open the 2016 season. The undrafted free agent with a run on the 2-point conversion to tie, and Marcus Murphy will return from the 1-yard line. And brought down just across the 16-yard line. So Jalen Richard grew up in the area, had never been to the Superdome, had never been to an NFL game, let alone play in one. And his first appearance here, his eyes watching himself run.
Put these big new boards up here. Look at me. Everybody look at me. I'm going to look at me, so everybody else look at me.
Only 5'8", and an honor student. High school in Alexandria, Louisiana. Carr, the running game for the Raiders, breaks through. And now it's up to Drew Brees, as he has done so often in his career, to have to respond after the opposition gets a touchdown. Here comes a flag. Michael Thomas with Hayden.
Well, Drew Brees is seeing somebody he wants to challenge.
Pass interference, defense number 25. Automatic first down, spot on the foul.
And he is going at him with abandon. Now, I said the other one wasn't PI. This is definitely pass interference. Settles his feet, which is a no-no on a receiver streaking up the field. Easily a violation of the rules. Maybe even there, too.
And a size advantage. Michael Thomas, the second-round draft pick, is 6'3". Handoff Mark Ingram here. Remember the previous drive when the Saints got the field goal, it was after back-to-back major pass interference penalties that gave yardage to the Saints and put them in position to, at that time, build an 8-point lead.
Those penalties were crucial on that drive. Obviously, we know what Drew Brees has been doing, throwing the football through the air. Those penalties kept it alive, created huge chunks of yardage for the offense, and they're going to have to watch this Raiders defense. These penalties don't get the better of them here. Now 11, right? Penalties on this Raiders football team.
Well, 13 actually accepted on the Raiders for over 125 yards. Brees. The pocket collapsing, but he gets rid of it. Willie Snead. The ball's out. Can a Saint get there first? Yes. It's Michael Thomas.
Come on. What are we seeing here? Big play after big play in this football game. And again, the pressure is all on Brees. Five men in there. And where has he been? Snead had a big first half, but shows up again for a huge play. And then Michael Thomas, that's, rookies paying attention down the field. Easily could have let that ball fall, but he's Johnny on the spot, picks it up. This may be called down by contact.
Yes. And there may be a challenge on the catch. Let's see if well, they're going to spot it all the way down to the 2-yard line.
Well, it doesn't look like Jack Del Rio is going to challenge, bringing their big bodies into the game. You see Jethro Franklin, a D-line coach there, trying to tell his big boys to get in there.
I mean, that was a fast happening play with a number of things going on.
I just don't think he wants to waste a challenge right now.
Raiders have all 3 timeouts. We have a timeout here, I believe. The Saints, it looks like, used the timeout according to the official.
And it took a long time for this play to, once it was over, the clock starts running, right? So it took them a long time to get down the field. I think they were all trying to determine whether this was a catch, first of all, and whether it went to the end of the play.
Ronnie,
but let's take a look at the end of the play here and see what we see. Clearly a catch. Reception, he has it for an amount of time.
And then if you're wondering about another player advancing the ball on a fumble from your own team, that only applies in the final 2 minutes, right? The player who fumbled can recover his own fumble.
If I'm correct in my thinking, yes. And we can ask Mike Pereira this, but I think it's only in the 2 minute where the guy that fumbles has to advance it.
And that was not fourth down, so that makes it a little bit easier. The gain on the play, all the way down to the 2-yard line, a total of 67 yards. 57 was on the initial catch, and then another 10 yards on the Michael Thomas recovery and advancement, and the Saints are out of timeouts. Travaris Cadet in with John Kuhn. Cadet a receiver. Breeze throws, end zone, touchdown Cadet!
Well, that's fast strike offense, and New Orleans Saints have been as good as anybody over the years at this. Perfect throw, perfect execution.
And another touchdown pass for Drew Brees, 4th in this game, and he's over 400 yards. And there's still 6 minutes to play. The extra point from Will Lutz, and the Saints are back up by 7.
There you go. You want to talk window dressing? This is Clemente, the third guard in the game. He was in at a wing tight end. He's just taking the Raiders' eyes off the play, and it's obviously going to the other side. He gets a little pick from the tight end, Kobe Fleener, there for Malcolm Smith, and it's an easy throw and catch for Drew Brees in this offense.
Senio Calamete lining out there, must have just thrown people off. And Cadet the other way. We saw him a lot on that type of play. So in less than 2.5 minutes, Drew Brees marches his team downfield. And talking to the rookie receiver who had the fumble recovery and advancement, and just continuing to pile up the NFL records and team records.
400 yards on the day, Chris, and he's thrown the ball to 8 different receivers today, and it's just impressive. Look at this stare from Derek Carr.
We started with a future Hall of Famer and an up-and-comer, and now the up-and-comer who has watched enough of Brees tape, as you mentioned earlier, coaching staff recommending certain things that Drew Brees does well. Carr with a chance to lead his team back. Yeah. Lutz. In the end zone, and Jones will down it. Let's get a game break. Check it again with Carissa Thompson.
Thanks, Chris. You guys got quite a game there yourselves. Coming up next, America's Game of the Week. Entering his 13th season, Eli Manning versus the 4th-round rookie out of Mississippi State. He had an impressive preseason, hoping to carry that over now. Dak Prescott. It's all coming up next.
NFC East clash there, an AFC-NFC meeting here. Drew Brees, 8-2 in his career against the Saints. A lot of that when he was a Charger, and has him out in front against the Raiders, I should say, as a member now of the Saints. Derek Carr from his own 25. Latavius Murray, and he gets up near a first down. You know, Raider fans, it's not the same type of thing that we saw with that Saints fumble and advancement, but football fans all remember, as you see, Snead the catch, Michael Thomas the recovery, a gain of 10 yards. But Raider fans remember Kenny Stabler and Dave Casper and the holy roller play. I'm sure all football fans recall. Rules have changed a lot since then. First and 10. Carr with time, completes across midfield. Clive Walford. It's only his 3rd catch of the game from the tight end position.
You know, Derek Carr, 3rd year. We've had the opportunity, Chris, to see him in his rookie year, saw him in games last year, and now we're getting a chance in his first game this year, and his development is really impressive to me. Look at him climb the pocket right there. There's 2 quick forward steps to deliver an on-strike ball. Looks very much, Chris, like a Drew Brees. So,
and not by accident, Richard is in the game. He's the one who snapped off that 75-yarder a moment ago. He gets the football, the big hole, working his way to the 39-yard line.
I'm telling you, I'm so impressed with this kid. And if you paid attention to the Raiders in the preseason, they talked about when he was injured and when he came back, what type of dynamic he was going to bring to this football team. And we saw him on a punt return, got called back, how shifty he is. We saw the explosive ability on that long run, and that play right there, he just hit the L button on his remote control and went right by to get 6 or 7 extra yards.
And remember, this is a makeshift offensive line that has 2 players knocked out because of injury. Latavius Murray can't get out of that one. An excellent tackle by Stephon Anthony. Stephon Anthony closed on him and wouldn't let him go.
Not only 2 guys out of position, we got 3 guys shuffling, because remember, the left guard went to left tackle, new left guard, and then the left tackle went to right tackle. So they're having to adjust on run.
On 3rd and 4. He threw it before the receiver turned around, and Cooper couldn't get it. Here comes a flag. And it came late.
Prior to the pass, holding defense, number 25. 5-yard penalty, first down.
P.J. Williams, the infraction.
Chris, you talked earlier in the game about the quarterback, wide receiver. I mean, come on.
Just don't grab the jersey.
Don't grab the jersey. I know the stretch, but the grab of the jersey did not affect the route. Amari Cooper was out of that break, and it was mistiming throw. They got a little bit of a break right there for the first down.
Major penalty on 3rd down gives them the first down. Richard into a crowd.
This point of the game, Chris, there's 3 minutes left in this football game. You're Derek Carr, this offense. You're talking to your offensive coordinator, and I got to think that they want to score, of course, but they want to score with no time left on the clock. You do not want to give the ball back to Drew Brees. So expect a methodical approach to this. Snap the ball at the end of the shot or the play clock and see if they can get down the field that way. Nice and patient drive.
2nd down 9. We'll have the 2-minute warning. Saints have no timeouts. Raiders have all of theirs. Carr's in trouble. Throws it up. Crabtree makes the catch, coming back to the football, and then gets the first down. We have seen a number of amazing plays in this game.
How impressive, though, is Crabtree coming back to get this football? I mean, he's scrambling out of the pocket. Derek Carr is. Good route. Ball should be there right now, but it's not. But good receivers do exactly what Crabtree did right there. Come back, make the defender unable to get to the football, make the catch, and more importantly, get the first down.
And the clock continuing to run. We have reached the 2-minute warning. Wild times in New Orleans to start the NFL season. The Saints lead, but the Raiders are on the move. Raiders trailing by 7, and they know going in this is 4-down territory, so it makes the play calling a little bit different for them.
Certainly frees you up when you know that you have to score here with 2 minutes on the clock. Makes no sense to have to kick a field goal here in this juncture of the game, because they're not sure they're going to get the ball back if they do.
They can run if they want with 3 timeouts. Carr to throw. Open. Sideline. Juggling. No. Clive Walford did not look comfortable.
Clive Walford, second-year tight end. I mean, I know Derek Carr releases this thing late and he floats it, but he's got to be more aware here on the sideline. Had the route that they want, maybe take a peek, but he's not even close to a completion there.
Would have been a big play to set the Raiders up inside the 10. 2nd down from the 23. He's done it 5 times. It's just his 3rd season in the NFL, beginning his 3rd season as Derek Carr. He has time again. Middle of the field dropped by Seth Roberts.
Wow, 2 back-to-back plays should have been completions for this offense. And Seth Roberts Had a breakout kind of year last year. He was on the practice squad the year before. Last year he was a big target. Great delivery, and sometimes it's too easy. Maybe he was looking at 56 right there. Monty, got to make that catch. Got to help your quarterback out.
On 3rd and 10, Carr pointing, keeping, running. He won't get the first down. He goes out of bounds inside the 20. It's going to be 4th down.
And now they find themselves in a situation where they have to convert, right? I'm surprised, Chris, that they didn't run the football on any one of those 2-3 drives. And here's Michael Crabtree. You might think that he was open right there. I know he was looking towards the other side of the field at the start of this play. But he did the smart thing. He avoided the rush, didn't take the sack, which would have been killer, and made this a little bit more manageable 4th down.
Derek Carr on 4th down. Floats one. There's a flag. The flag. The penalty flag came in late. Craig Robertson was covering Jalen Richard.
Pass interference, defense number 52. Automatic first down, spot of the foul.
Hey, Derek Carr, to me, is a little bit of a slow decision. Watch how quickly number 30 is open. Give him the ball right now. Wait, gives it to him late, and yes, pass interference, pushes him out of bounds. Raiders get a break here.
Del Rio got the call he wanted. First down, Raiders.
I'm not sure Jack Del Rio believed that was pass interference, but he gladly took it after he saw that it was.
Jalen Richard, in his first NFL game, remains in the game. 1:37 to play. Carr, Richard hit hard and knocked backwards. Craig Robertson, who just had the infraction, delivered the tackle. 61 points in this game. Total, Breeze over 400 yards, Carr over 300 yards passing.
We've been talking up this Saints defense all day long, Chris. How improved that they've been. They've got a bunch of stops. Crunch time now, right? Most important drive of the game. You need a stop. Let's see what Dennis Allen and his young defense can do for this team.
Jack Del Rio's team, he has all of his timeouts spotted at the 10-yard line. On 2nd and 7, we're going to get timeout. He's going to use one of those with 52 seconds to go. Got some wild games on opening weekend. We'll have the second half of our doubleheader. Most will see the Giants and the Cowboys. Some will see the Lions and the Colts. The Packers won in Jacksonville. Houston defeated the Bears. The Vikings won in Tennessee. Cincinnati edged the Jets. The Eagles won at home against the Browns. Tampa Bay beat Atlanta. Baltimore knocked off Buffalo. Chargers and Chiefs tied. And here, a wild game that Derek Carr hopes will last a little bit longer.
Again, I think it behooves this Raiders team to score with no time left on the clock. You know, they want this game to go to overtime. And he may have been shaken up here at the end of this play. Calls for help, asking his offensive lineman to get him off the ground. See if that affects him here on this second down play.
Catch made, Seth Roberts spinning into the end zone. Touchdown, Raiders!
All you're asking for is an opportunity at redemption. Seth Roberts, oh wow. And Derek Carr is telling his offense, get on the field. We are going for 2 here.
Oh, you got to be kidding me.
Wow, talk about gutsy.
The Saints don't have any timeouts here.
Talk about gutsy. And maybe this goes back to the fact that if Drew Brees gets on the field here. He could pull a Brett Favre and drive him all the way down and score.
Well, and you said Favre because he wears the number 4 for Favre. That was his idol watching him growing up. But what a gutsy call.
Wow.
47 seconds left. Again, there's no timeouts, and there will be no stoppage of the clock by New Orleans. And the Raiders are going to use looks like their second timeout here. Or they wanted to use it. From the sideline, we got the call in. Okay.
You're on the road, Chris, starting the season.
Does he not have enough faith in his defense based on what's going on? I know you're going against Drew Brees.
That's the question. But you're on the road. You're starting this season in one of the most hostile environments in the NFL. Gets to overtime, the advantage for sure, for certain, is going to be with the New Orleans Saints. And maybe he doesn't trust his defense. Maybe he's trying to go for the jugular right here at the end and make that offense have to go down and kick a field goal to win.
And here's the other thing. If you're going to do that, save your timeouts, because then even if the Saints have the ball and you stop them, you can stop the clock with your timeouts. Yeah, but now you only have one.
Interesting call either way, Chris. But I got to tell you what, you like the guts of a head coach to do this, and for sure you must trust the moxie of your third-year quarterback to get in the end zone right here. Let's see what they got.
Giving up the extra point tie. Going for 2. Carr for Crabtree. He has it! He held on to it! Better be careful with a celebration there. You get a penalty and you still have to contend with Drew Brees. Here comes a flag.
Oh, hey, you know what? One of the things I talked to you about this before this game, Chris. One of the strengths of this Raiders team is its youth. One of the weaknesses of this Raiders team is its youth. You got to act like you've been here before. You cannot make this mistake. A Raiders team. You're going to give the ball.
The ruling on the field is a 2-point conversion. After the conversion, unsportsmanlike conduct. Offense number 15. 15-yard penalty will be assessed on the next kickoff.
It only takes a field goal to win. Drew Brees on the other sideline, and you just spotted him 15 yards. Michael Crabtree is smarter than this, or at least he should be. But he gets this one-on-one matchup. We know how potent this guy can be in the red zone, how good of a year he had last year. But this is just a mistake.
Well, and let's credit Jack Del Rio. You said he knows his team. He knows what the expectations are we have to produce on the field, so he didn't pass up the chance to play for the tie. But then his team, well, at least his player, a little reckless. Remember, the Saints have a rookie kicker. This is his first NFL game. He's made kicks, he's missed kicks, he's had one block that still went through the uprights.
This is what I'm worried about if I'm in California right now. 47 seconds on the clock. Drew Brees. He's had some explosive plays today, over 400 yards passing, and now he gets 15 extra yards.
And do you kick it out of the end zone and just put him at the 25, or do you try and make him return and chew up the clock?
Kicking from the 20. Sebastian Janikowski's kicking from the 20. I know he's got his strong leg, but this is not going any farther than the other 15.
They need to turn up the air vents of the dome for him.
I mean, he might pull his hip flexor trying to get this thing to the end zone, Chris.
The penalty pushed him back to the 20, so it does take that option, but do you squib or go high? Marcus Murphy is back. And it'll go all the way back to about the 5-yard line, but a lining kick. Murphy is run into and shoved back. What a special teams play by the Raiders.
Great special teams play. Good coverage by Darren Bates and this Raiders special teams. I mean, that could have been disastrous. It helps to have a kicker. 17-year Sebastian Janikowski can do this, put this ball from the 20 almost all the way inside the 10 to the 5, and then just great coverage down the field. All these guys digging in and making the field a little bit longer for Drew Brees.
23-yard line, 40 seconds, no timeouts. Nate Allen has come back in at safety for the Raiders, along with Reggie Nelson. Brees complete to Willie Snead. He's all the way up to the 44-yard line.
Going to see a lot of zone coverage here by the Raiders, and Drew Brees is a master at dicing those up.
23 seconds to go. Will Lutz in his first NFL game. Now, he did make a 57-yarder during the pregame warm-up. And through the course of the game, he has made and missed. And he said he wasn't nervous, but some of his coaches were. His college long is 53. Breeze held on to again by Snead. What a catch going to the ground.
The only thing
Clock runs.
The only thing hurting these offenses time right now.
9 seconds.
Because Drew Brees is executing at will.
So does he have one more play before the kicker has to come out?
Willie Snead is operating unscathed through the middle of the field, but right now he cannot throw a ball over the middle again. Expect this pass to go to the sideline. It's going to be a quick completion, or he's going to throw it away and give himself another opportunity. But I think they need a couple more yards, Chris, to get to a comfortable place where your rookie kicker can make this long field goal.
Breeze, incomplete. It'll be third down. Right now you're looking at a 61-yard field goal. And for those of you in the home markets of our late games, in a moment you'll be leaving this game and we'll be switching you to the start of your game. And they're bringing in Lutz with 5 seconds on 3rd and 10. We mentioned earlier and showed you earlier that Tom Dempsey back at Tulane Stadium, at the time record 63-yarder. 22-year-old undrafted free agent Will Lutz.
I saw him kicking right on this fleur-de-lis in the pregame. He missed a bunch of them, but he made a couple of them too.
Sean Payton signed him because of his strength of his leg, he said. An impressive workout. Added after a last-minute cut of Kai Forbath, who had beaten out Connor Barr through the preseason for the Saints kicking job. What an amazing game this has been.
It's been outstanding. Outstanding game. Back and forth. When it mattered on either side of the ball, they got stops on defense. But this was about offense. It was about Derek Carr. It was about Drew Brees lighting up this game. And over 750 combined passing yards in this football game is just simply amazing, Chris.
Lutz made from 42 in this game. He missed from 50, was wide left, showed the leg, and he made from 20, and that was blocked. But it still went through the uprights. For the win from 61. No! And the Raiders win. Del Rio's gamble comes off.
Had plenty of leg too, Chris. He drilled it, and it just drifted wide left. Wow, what a game. What a game to start the season. Impressive offense. Comes down to a rookie kicker, and he absolutely drilled this thing. But just look at it the last second, get a little bit too much hook.
That was close. That was as close as this game was throughout. America's Game of the Week is coming up on Fox.